It's car con carne. Let's eat in the car. It's car con carne. And now here's the star of our show, James Van Alstyne.
Car con carne. It's Friday night, 4th of July weekend. It sounds like I'm living in Afghanistan circa 2003 outside my neighborhood. Quarantine Con Carne sponsored tonight by C&H Financial Services. As business owners open back up to serve their communities, they're faced with a lot of challenges as they navigate through this new normal brought on by the coronavirus. C&H Financial Services is here to help. They offer a variety of products that range from traditional merchant accounts to zero-cost payment processing solutions, which eliminate the expenses associated with accepting Visa, MasterCard, Discover, and American Express as a form of customer payment. C&H Financial Services eTap solution is easy to set up for your business for online ordering, curbside pickup, whatever. C&H also offers cost-effective commercial lending programs, which can help you get your business the money it needs to make it through these unprecedented times. To learn more, contact C&H Financial Services at 855-600-2437 or go to chfs.us. It's Friday night. My guest, Gen Xers probably recognize you right out of the gate, but you are Andre Comeau. You are a rocker. You are a musician. You just put out a killer, bluesy, sleazy, rockin' new EP called Wrong Within. Thanks for joining me remotely here.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, James.
Later tonight, around 9:25-ish Central Time, you are going to do an acoustic performance, do some old school acoustic finger picking.
Yeah. New song, Don't Follow the Lights.
Is that what Gollum told the hobbits?
That is exactly what Gollum said to Frodo.
Don't follow the lights. This is
Don't
great.
Follow the lights. That's correct.
Total nerdgasm. This is fantastic. So, you just put out this new EP. This song is newer than the new EP.
Correct. Yeah. It'll be on the next one.
Was this written in quarantine?
Actually, no, but if so, the lyrics are really fitting of what we're all going through. But no, the song was written prior to quarantine.
I love it. All right, so let's talk. I want to talk about what people recognize you for. It's the elephant in the room. You're on the first season of Real World on MTV, but we're going to push that off so we can talk about your music first. Let's talk about this EP. There is a grimy bluesiness that is just all over it. When I listen to this EP, Andre, it sounds like something I should be listening to in a deafening, sweaty, cramped nightclub. Short of that, streaming at home on a Soho sounds fine too.
Yeah, I'm pretty grimy. It's fitting, I guess. Yeah.
So tell me where these songs came from.
Well, I've been writing songs for a long time, and most of my songs come from personal experience, but I write in character, and sometimes that character is closer to me than others, but most of the things most of the lyrics come from personal experience.
Son of a gun, I've got a problem with the alcohol. Character, not a character.
Not really. That's more of a character. Yeah.
And the blues influence, I hear it on Out of Control. I hear it on Clairvoyant. Were you weaned on the blues? I mean, you were weaned on folk, weren't you?
Well, honestly, the truth is that I grew up in a very musical family. My mom's 7 brothers and sisters were in a vocal band, kind of like, Motown meets the Osmonds. They were on Capitol Records. They were on the Ed Sullivan Show and all of the variety shows of the day. And I grew up on, in that environment.
And that was in Detroit.
That was in Detroit, yes, in the 70s.
So I'm going to jump around a little bit. You're on the West Coast now. You're in Los Angeles.
Yeah. I've been here 20 years.
Was that
22 years.
Was that a good change of pace for you? Was that musically, creatively?
Well, I love you can't beat LA. You can't beat the weather. And I've really become so comfortable living here. I do miss my friends and family back east, as I lived in New Jersey, New York, Detroit. I spent a winter in Chicago, 95, coldest winter of my life.
Crimea
But
River.
yeah, and I moved here in 97, and I've been here ever since.
Right. It's kind of a weird time for rock. I have a kid going into high school, a kid leaving high school, and it seems like at that age they're listening to hip hop or country. Like it's a weird moment for rock. Like when we were growing up, it was rock, it was alt. I feel like that pendulum is about to swing back really hard in the rock direction.
I hope so. I think that there's been a bit of an absence in pop culture and in film and TV as far as what they are, advertising. The music that they choose hasn't really been guitar rock, hasn't really been guitar centered, and that's what rock and roll is for the most part, is guitar rock, guitar music. And electronic, hip hop, all kinds of pop. They've really been at the forefront of music licensing for the most part. And rock really hasn't been at the center of pop culture for a while now. And there's something cool about that. I kind of like that. But I'm a very contrary personality, and I those kind of things appeal to me. Things that are not necessarily the focus.
Well, yeah, you strike me as someone who's always just kind of scratched his own itch. That's a terrible metaphor. Followed his muse. I mean, you walked away from rock and you went the Americana route. You went the banjo route with River Rouge.
I did. Back in 2000, I got very fed up with rock music. It had the hard rock music was, a hybrid of hip hop and rock, and it had really gotten into that thing, which is fine. It's just not what I do. And at the same time, I really fell in love and found such a deep appreciation for acoustic music, specifically, bluegrass, and bands like Alison Krauss and Union Station, and guitar player Tony Rice, banjo player Bela Fleck. These people's music spoke to me in a way that really I hadn't felt in many years, and I did that for 15 years, and loved it, folk music. But at some point, I did miss the volume and the Les Paul, and
yeah.
I hadn't even turned on an amp in so many years as I was playing acoustic guitar. Only acoustic instruments. My amps were collecting dust. My guitars were collecting dust. I had to break out.
Totally get it. And again, the new EP is Wrong Within. It's streamable everywhere, but it's worth mentioning today on Bandcamp. Bandcamp's waiving all their fees, so artists get the money directly today. So the EP is available on Bandcamp if people want to buy it outright, and that goes directly to you. And if you're watching or listening in time, I have a list on my personal Facebook page, James Van Alstel, of a bunch of Chicago area bands who have stuff up for sale today on Bandcamp. I love that Bandcamp's been doing this. It's a great way to support artists, including my guest tonight, Andre Comeau.
Yeah, it's great.
It's the right thing to do, and I love it. All right, so before River Rouge, there was Rain Dance.
Mm-hmm.
It seems to me like if you even had so much as a spark in your favor in the 1990s, you were in a good position. That was a good time to be in some level of band.
It was. The 90s was fun. It's funny. Rain Dance always had a DIY attitude. Again, very, very much before the curve. And we loved independent labels and independent artists. And we chose to do that rather than get involved with any of the major labels that were knocking on our door. We really thought we were going to break as an independent artist, on an independent label. and found it. We learned otherwise, but we recorded 3 records and toured nonstop for probably about 7 years, and disbanded in '97, at which time I moved to LA.
Well, you had the right idea. It was just the wrong decade. It really was.
Story of my life.
You're a visionary. That's how you'll be remembered. Well, you had, let's face it, you had the greatest publicity machine behind you. You had MTV behind you with The Real World.
That's true.
So very recently, I finished reading the oral history of MTV. And when Real World started, when that was revving up, it really ran in conflict with MTV purists. Like, this is going to ruin MTV. This is going to ruin everything. That was the feeling, was, we're a music station. What's this reality stuff? Turned out it was a good call. It seemed to pay dividends, and we're still feeling those reverberations in pop culture. What was the goal for you with Real World? Was it to use it as a vehicle to promote Raindance? Was it, I want to just...
Yeah, well, that was certainly the focus of my life at that time, and the show, was about these people and their lives, and without question, that's what that's pretty much the only thing that I had going on at that time in my life, and that was what I wanted to show people. But at the time, though, I mean, you're talking about 1992, and I believe that the month that our show premiered, the cover of the Rolling Stone was Nirvana with Kurt Cobain wearing a shirt that said corporate music or corporate magazines still stock or something, and so that, I mean, they were a big, huge fan of Nirvana. I was lucky enough to see them perform many times, but the attitude was very much, it wasn't so cool to be so closely associated with corporate, a multinational corporation like MTV, like Viacom, or so it was in some instances a hindrance as well.
Totally get that. And I mean, this is a much smaller example, but in the 90s, I was working for a corporate alternative radio station, and it was the same thing. It wasn't cool. I mean, the cool kids wanted nothing to do with the radio station. I remember I was in a radio station vehicle, and we were driving through Wicker Park, which was back then the epicenter of all things hipster and cool in Chicago. We were at an intersection. It was the intersection of North Milwaukee and Damon. I'm sitting in the passenger seat. Dude just walks up right to the passenger window and does this. And I'm like, who does that? Who does, like, that's so brazen. Like,
I'm hip. I can just say that. After playing a million shows across the country and dealing with all kinds of angry people about, angry that MTV doesn't play videos anymore, and wanting to have a personal representative to complain to, and really, I was that person in many instances.
And as we came to learn, that first season was way more tame than what came afterward.
Well, they had not perfected the biosphere quite yet at that time. I think the first season was the only season, that they were choosing actual artists. We had writers, artists, painters. It was definitely a more serious and functional group. Whereas, they realized halfway in, well, what we need is drama, not actual pursuits, creative pursuits, which is what we were all in searching for, trying to pursue. They needed just drama, and you can get that out of anyone.
Did you hit a point at any point in that first season where you're like, oh my God, what the hell have I done? What am I doing here?
Yes. Yes, certainly. I found myself and I shouldn't complain, because I had it very easy. I was treated well. You know, when you realize that basically they can edit anything to tell the story they want to tell, regardless of what actually happened. What the real story is doesn't matter. It's what they want to show you, and in that way, I was handled very, very easily, and I have no complaints. Having said that, there were a couple of times where I deeply, deeply regretted some of the things that I had said, some of the attitudes that I had. I was, 20 years old,
Yeah.
Shooting my mouth off, having, no business as the, no business. But they went easy on me.
So fast forwarding back to the present, again, the new EP is out. It's called Wrong Within. You can get it buy it on Bandcamp today. If you want to hear it, just go buy it on Bandcamp today. You can stream it everywhere. What lessons do you take into this solo aspect of your career? You've done the band thing. You've flirted with labels, small, medium, and large. What makes you a smarter artist in 2020 than you were, say, in 1995 or 2005?
Well, I do what I want to do now. It's all, if I want to write a rock record, that's what I'm working on. If I want to go back to acoustic music, that's what I do. I don't let other people's opinions or conflicts get in my way.
So we're in quarantine. We're all stuck at home. How are you as an artist managing through this? Yeah, since you can't do gigs.
Yeah. Well, right. It's a hard time to release a record, and I had to put it out.
I'm glad you did. I think we need content. We music consumers need content right now.
We postponed the release, as it was supposed to be out the third week of March, which was the actual first release date. And that was the week that they shut everything down.
Yeah.
So the label came to me and we said, let's pause for a couple of weeks, see what happens. And it became clear that this is not going away anytime soon. And, our whole strategy was to tour in support of the EP, where it's getting airplay, and do regional touring, Southeast and the East Coast, maybe the Midwest, if we, depending on what the, how it did at radio. And now we have to switch to a largely online strategy. We're doing a live streaming events in this month. Unfortunately, they're still the dates are still soft. Otherwise, I would be promoting it heavily. We will be doing it this month or early next, I guess, if we can, depending on the scheduling. The problem is that the facilities out here have they've just been they're closing down one minute, they're opening for this, then they're not, and so the goal is to do live streaming events, videos, and keeping a steady online presence, and then immediately going back into the studio and releasing a full length, hopefully
Awesome.
by early next year.
Christine, who's watching on Facebook Live, says, love the new music. Agreed. And in 15 minutes from right now, if you're watching on Facebook Live, Andre will be performing acoustic, his Hobbit-centric song, Don't Follow the Lights. If you're a fan of J.R.R. Tolkien, this is really going to speak to you.
Yeah.
So I'll let you get ready for that. Andre Comeau, again, the EP, Wrong Within. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Yeah, my pleasure.
And I'm going to stop Facebook Live. Thank you, everybody, for watching on Facebook Live. That's awfully generous of you. And thanks. That was great.
Thank you, James.
Do unto others as they've done to you, An eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. Go there before one living proof. At the core, there is truth. Don't follow the lights, stay close to the ground. Keep clear of crowds, stay out of sight. Don't make a sound, just keep your head down. Travel by night, don't follow the lights. So much sadness, big as the moon. It's gotten much worse, all we're left with is ruin. Wake every morning with hope that I'll lose before noon. It's coming on soon. Don't follow the lights, stay close to the ground. Keep clear of crowds, stay out of sight. Don't make a sound, just keep your head down. Travel by night, don't follow the lights. Getting lost in the dark, sharpest shot that just missed the mark. And how long must this go on? The future's uncertain. Do unto others as they've done to you. We're blind to what binds us. In fact, we are proof. Hope for the future and love for the youth. At the core, there is truth. Don't follow the lights, stay close to the ground. Keep clear of crowds, stay out of sight. Don't make a sound, just keep your head down. Travel by night, don't follow the light.